Hey there. So we're here with a hot topic, right? Is there love in the afterlife and romance? And the answer is yes. And some people I know, including myself, are experiencing that. So let's unpack this. And one thing I want to make clear is that, of course, nobody can give you what physical evidence. Like, how can we do that, right? So what we're talking about, especially in our work with folks, is getting your own evidence, like making your own connection, and not so much relying on other people like mediums. Mediums are great when you're starting out. You just really need evidence that they have survived their transition, they haven't died. But as folks will quickly find out, like that doesn't lead to connection. So stick around because at the end of this live, I'm going to lead you through a guided exercise. We're really big on that, on creating this energy field, this space. Oh, Ellen's saying this doorway that opens between this world and the next, and many of you have experienced that. Certainly, a lot of people that are in our academy. And by the way, the academy is open for enrollment, and you'll find a link in the description box on our YouTube channel. Okay, so you can join for just $19 a month, and I encourage you to at least try for a month, right? Like somebody just contacted me wanting, to get co- confirmation and wanting it through me doing evidential mediumship, and was actually arguing with me like why I wasn't doing that with Alan. And I said, well, because we don't teach evidential mediumship, and I have been told by spirit that that's not actually necessary. And I'm here to demonstrate that you don't have to be an evidential medium to have a relationship through the veil. If it was required, they would have told me, please do that. Like they would tell me to be one and teach that. And they said no. They actually give us firm no. They wanted me to demonstrate that you don't have to be a professional anything to continue a relationship through the veil. Would a mediumship class help? Maybe, but we've got students in our academy who've gone that route and it didn't help. It didn't make the connection. And Spirit said that's because the class needs to be taught by somebody who themselves have established a relationship through the veil and has someone on the other side facilitating. So what we're doing is new. Is I don't know if anybody else is doing that. Yes, there are people teaching mediumship. There are people who have a partner on the other side, okay? But that partner isn't Alan. And I don't think that they're teaching live on YouTube every week, committed to teaching for free to the world. Show me. Are they teaching that every week? Do they have all the videos that we have and more coming? We have way more content coming. So subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, because I just have a whole bunch of videos that we're going to upload our full Bridge to Heaven masterclass for anyone to take. We've had people start to have contact through that masterclass and then want to join our academy to go deeper, because usually that's what's required, is to really unfold this beautiful relationship that's possible. You gotta learn, you gotta unlearn things too. Where can you do that for $19 a month? I challenge you to show me any teacher who shows up 3 to 4 times a month teaching live, and then plus these live streams. Okay. So, but let's dive into the topic, because I do want to do that guided exercise at the end, because Spirit says that's the gold there, because we do open a doorway to the afterlife. And we don't ask you to just take our word for it. We say, well, just follow along with us, just dive in and do it. Okay. It's not about information at all. That's only a little part of it, is a portion of it, right? But it's about getting your own experience. That's what's going to prove it to you, not me telling you what details about your loved one. How does that help you? You don't know that already? No. And my energy is best used to hold this space, and it does take energy. And it is sometimes exhausting. So Spirit said they closed the door, and I tried for a little bit doing some mediumship, and they said, no, that's not your thing. And we want you to focus on holding the space with Alan. We want you to focus on honing your connection with Alan and offering that platform, this energy field that we create that many can feel. And if you're not there yet, don't worry, stick with us long enough, you will feel it. But they said, that's your gift. That's where your intention needs to go. You're an activator and an awakener for people to connect spiritually to their soul and to their loved ones. Okay. So is there romance in the afterlife? Heck, yes. Like, there are people having astounding experiences through the veil, and I've been shown what's there. Okay. And other mediums have even shared this themselves and said, yes, there is incredible intimate contact on the other side that you can't even begin to imagine because you're in a physical body. Okay. So this whole nonsense that some people have been told by in their religion, okay, that no, there's no marriage in the afterlife. There's only like these familial relationships, right? Like brotherly love, and you just love everybody, and you don't return there and resume your marriage or your partnership in any way. You're just what? You just become energy. Like you don't have an identity. You don't have any connections. Like you're just Alan saying, just a blob of energy, like with everybody. No, no, no. That's just a particular religious belief, okay, that is created by a human, okay? It wasn't divinely inspired. I don't care who says it is. That's not the experience I've had when I've kind of gone to the other side. And that's not what most mediums will tell you, that the relationships continue. Those relationships are eternal, people. If they're eternal, you're going to cross over and just forget about everybody? Does that even make any sense? No. So we have to resist the impulse to compare what the physical world to the non-physical and think that there's a equal translation, right? Like, okay, well, that's the same. No, you cannot really expect to measure the spirit world through physical, measures or comparisons. It just doesn't apply. He's saying to me that you can't wrap your mind around what the other side really is. And a lot of mediums will tell you that. A lot of people who have strong connections with the spirit world will tell you that too. It's like you can't really understand it, okay? Not with your physical mind, right? So there is romance in the afterlife. And he's saying to me, and there's still romance between the veil. Okay, so you can have it all. Is it something that just happens spontaneously? For some people, yeah. Some people, they report having these intimate relations through the veil, and they're shocked and then think, what the heck's going on? I didn't expect this. And other people have to work toward that or, learn that. But there is, Alan's saying to me, there's everything and anything you can imagine on the other side. Everything that's here is there, and then some. Okay, then there's other experiences that you cannot, like I said, you can't quite imagine, like colors that you've never seen before. That's just one thing he's showing me, and vistas, places, and other dimensions and other realities. Okay, so, but we don't want to get overly focused on that, because you are here in a body for a reason. You need to be focused here, okay? But there is everything there. So Rennie just says, I am in a mediumship class, and I have to say I've learned more here in the academy than in mediumship class. Yeah, I've heard that from countless students of ours who've studied with some very well-known prominent teachers and say the same thing. Like, okay, I learned this, because and Alan's saying, well, think about it. Their focus is not having you continue your relationship through the veil, is it? Their focus may be helping you to connect through the veil, like communicate with spirit. We're talking about having an ongoing relationship, not just communication once in a while. And now their spirit showing me that is a whole different thing that requires us holding this energy. And okay, they're reminding me, it requires you doing some personal development work, which is what we help you with. Most mediumship trainings don't do that. Okay, I've been teaching personal development, spiritual development for 35 plus years. That's always been my focus, is helping people evolve and let go of their fears, limiting beliefs, their issues, so that they can rise up in their vibration. Mediumship can be practiced by people who don't have a high vibration. Trust me, I've met them. I met somebody who does physical mediumship, which is manifesting spirit, if you've ever have learned about physical mediumship. Okay, and that person was extremely distorted as a personality, like almost like borderline mentally ill. You don't have to be a highly evolved soul to be a medium. You can be, don't get me wrong, there are some mediums that are very evolved as a being, and there's people that aren't. I know, because I've met them. That's not the same thing. So all he's saying, and I'm saying, what we're teaching is unique. It has to be because I'm unique and Alan's unique, not just because he's in the spirit world. My base of knowledge and experience reaches for 35, 37 years now. And then I have Alan, right? So there is love in the afterlife. You will reunite with everyone that you've loved or ever loved. Now, this brings up another question, because there's some religions that say you have no choice. When you cross over, you have to reunite, let's say, with your husband, right? And some people might go, because they're not all necessarily happy about that. They go, but I don't want to be with my husband. And that's not you, I'm sure. But let's say somebody didn't want that, right? Like they're like, well, I don't know. We don't really get along well. And I don't even know if he's really my soulmate. I don't know if, well, and then their religion tells them, no, you have to, that marriage bond is sacred. You have to, all that stuff. Okay. Let's just put it this way. We're talking about soul love, soul partnership, soul marriages. And I think you and I could agree that not all marriages are of that caliber, right? Like people marry for all kinds of reasons. I'm not saying this is you, by the way. Okay, I'm just saying in the world, right? People marry. Not all relationships are on that soul level. Yes, there's love there, because there's love in every relationship. But when we talk about soul love, we mean that you've had a connection that stretches through other lifetimes. You've likely been partners or been in each other's lives for many of those lifetimes, not necessarily all, because sometimes we're going to go through lives where we're, kind of solo, like we're going through other things. But you have a soul connection that is very strong and encompasses many lives, parallel lives, that are living right now, in fact. So, when that relationship is a soul love relationship, because it's almost as if you cannot not love that person. Like, and you are often, just pulled in, and and there can be challenges. Okay. And soulmate relationships and twin soul relationships. Let's talk about that, because some people will think, well, that's the ultimate. We've talked about this before, but it bears mentioning again. A twin soul relationship is really just another name for a soulmate relationship, except that a twin soul relationship is more intense. Okay. It is more intense, and it's going to bring up in probably a stronger way our fears, our issues. That's what relationships are for. We're going to relationships to have ourselves reflected back to us. So our partners are just kind of mirrors to us, right? Now, sometimes they may be saying that, we're projecting something on us that's not true, right? Because that can happen too. But it's still a lesson for us to sift through that and go, wait a minute, my partner is telling me some lie. Let's say I'm in an abusive relationship and my partner's saying, "Well, you're just selfish, you're a narcissist or whatever." And hey, maybe I am, right? And I could reflect on that, but maybe I'm not. Maybe that's their projection. They're just projecting, their narcissism on us, right? So, but we get to see that reflected and say, "Okay, is that true? Is that not true? What's going on here?" So think about it. All your relationships are kind of giving you an experience of you that you wouldn't have if you didn't have anybody in your life. That's the gift and the challenge of relationships. They're meant to be like that. They're meant to trigger whatever we have in us that we need to heal. So those relationships, and it's not just in, let's say, a partner relationship, but with family, right? Parents, child, friends, whoever, even coworkers, bosses. They're going to kind of push our button. But here's the thing. We're not going to be triggered unless we have a button to push. It just means we got an issue. So the person's like bringing up some feelings, some, let's say, some insecurities that if they get triggered, right? And it's not really their fault. It's more like something for us to ponder. Okay, I seem to be insecure about my self-concept. This person put me down about something and I feel now threatened or insecure. Okay, I get to look at that. Nobody can make us feel something unless we're already in agreement with that. Because if somebody came up to you and told you, "Well, you're just stupid," like off the street, you look at them like, "This person's crazy. They don't know me. Why are they telling me I'm stupid?" Now, if your best friend tells you, "Well, Pam, you're just stupid," and I really believe maybe I am, right? Because I'm insecure. Yeah, I'm going to be really all upset. Like I'm going to feel angry or, at them and maybe even lash out. But if I know, like, hey, I know I'm not maybe the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm not stupid. If I know that to the core of my being, I would just shrug it off and go, "Wow, why is she being so mean to me? What's with my friend?" I would see their act, their comment, what they're doing as their behavior. And I wouldn't take it personally. I wouldn't take it personally because I would reject their statement because I know it's not true. But if instead I was insecure and I did really feel or fear that, I'm stupid, I'm just lacking in intelligence. By the way, Alan had that insecurity. So whenever something threatened that, when he felt perceived that he was being criticized, especially by me, he would just react and get upset. And I said, "Well, you were so insecure about your intelligence." And he was, and he admitted that because he didn't get to finish school, even though he's really bright and had street smarts. He was smarter than all these intellectuals that I wouldn't meet. And he was intuitive. Intuition is the highest form of intelligence. You just know what you know. But he didn't see that. He didn't value that in himself. So his insecurity would mean he'd react. Okay. So it'd come up in the relationship. Okay. So a twin soul relationship is intense. It's like the passion can be really intense, and then the conflict, the of of wills, of egos, that can be intense too. Depends what the two souls have planned to experience in their relationship, in their time together. But let's make no mistake, you cannot really be two souls that are one, because in truth, there is only one of us. There's only one soul, meaning source. Okay. We are living the illusion that we're separate beings, separate souls, for the purpose of having a unique experience in the physical world. You can't have an experience in the 3D world if you're all merged. Again, An's teasing me, and one glob. Like if you're all one with everybody, how can you have a separate experience? You can't. So you're living the illusion that you're separate, and And yes, in a sense, you are, because you're a unique soul that will never be destroyed, will always be you. There'll be other variations of you because you're going to have other lives and have create other personalities with biases and, different. Well, he says to have a different perspective. So it is like you're playing these multiple roles. Or if you want to put it in gaming, language, it's like you're playing all these different games and playing different roles in those different games, right? Then life is kind of a game. So you're playing these different roles and it's multiplayer. You're the multiplayer, and maybe hundreds of realities that you're existing in. But I don't want you to go down that rabbit hole, which some people tend to do, because that's not going to be useful for you. This is something to think about more when you're more firmly established in your own self, okay, as a soul, as a being who is a spirit, and you can, go on. He says you can partake of that mind candy if you want to, but don't get caught up in that. We suggest that you make your primary goal to identify what limiting beliefs you have, especially relative to spirit communication, because that needs to be addressed. And I don't know if mediumship training does that. Um, I don't know. The one training we did take was pretty, I would say, disappointing, because I didn't learn anything I didn't already know. And but we're not even going to talk about that. I mean, I'm not trying to discourage anybody from studying mediumship at all. Okay, just know that all I can tell you is the feedback I'm getting from students who say, yeah, I only really started to take off in my contact when I found you. And it can be even just through watching these live, these videos. You don't have to join the academy. I just know that we can help you process your own issues, which are the things that need to be addressed if you're going to raise your vibration to be closer to that threshold between heaven and earth. Okay, it's just physics. It's just spiritual, and I call it spiritual physics. Like, you have to be a vibrational match. It's not about being psychic, because unless you just want to read your partner, right? Like, get information. Because remember, there are no secrets in the universe. So yeah, you could take mediumship training and read your loved one in the spirit world, but that's not directly communicating necessarily. And if we're talking about having more of a tangible, visceral contact, right, where you feel them around you, I mean, we have students that their loved ones are holding their hand, that kind of thing. In touching them physically. I mean, there's all kinds of things going on. Okay, all kinds of things. And Alan says anything's possible, but you got to raise up your vibration. It's not about just being psychic. If it was, all the psychics would immediately, if their loved ones crossed over, they'd have instant contact, could continue relationship with the veil, and we wouldn't be debating with some of them that this is even possible. It's a vibrational thing. We live in a vibrational universe that if you want to experience something, you have to be in resonance with it. You have to match it vibrationally, not 100%. You just have to be in range. Okay, so the higher your vibration, then the closer you get. And I think most of you can understand that. Like, yeah, okay, I have to rise up. And any limiting belief, like if you have resentment toward them or others, even, because resentment's a pretty heavy, dense energy. And if you don't have any self-love, like you don't know how to really love yourself, that means you don't love others. You might feel love for your partner or loved ones on the other side, and I know you do, but the depth of it is not what you think, because you cannot give to them what you don't have for yourself. So, not that they're complaining, because they know you're doing your best. Okay, so loving oneself becomes, like Spirit says, the number one priority. And I don't know if every mediumship training helps people love themselves. I mean, what we do is always working with you on all these different areas. Self-love, not just psychic development. In fact, this is what Spirit told me. People don't really need to take psychic development training, because we are a soul and our soul is completely psychic. Classes are merely permission slips. Like you take the class and you practice, you get feedback. And I know that's important and that's fine. But ultimately, people, unless they believe, right, they believe and accept that they can do this, they won't have much success or they won't really go further because it starts with belief. And when you start shifting that, opening, clearing your limiting beliefs and start believing that you are, like, this is who you are, that you are a spirit who has a soul and the soul's completely psychic. Well, you can go through this main awakening and not take any class. You don't really need classes. Sure, they can help. um, Assuming that they're not telling you some nonsense like, well, we have to let our loved ones go. You can't continue a relationship through the veil. Okay, you can just communicate with them, but you can't really expect them to be with you 24/7. No, no. I'm experiencing that. I know many people in our academy experiencing that, and we're developing our relationship through the veil. This is not something I or anybody out there can teach you in one go. This is a process of unfolding, of you evolving as a soul. And as I said, my passion has always been teaching people to embody their soul. This just happens to line up with what Alan and I are doing, as he asked me to do once he crossed over, like, help me, let's teach people how to connect through the veil. And then I realized it was all about somebody learning to connect to their soul and their higher self, and to go through that transformation that I went through. And I realized, yeah, this is why I learned all that, right? This is why I went through all that. And why I can offer that to you. If I hadn't done that, how can I offer that energy to you? I'm not saying I'm perfect or I'm enlightened, but as I've had told to me by other teachers, I don't have limiting beliefs that the average person has, because I went through my transformation, spiritually transformative experience. And I have proof of that from other spiritual teachers who read me and said, what did you do? So again, I don't mean that I am perfect, because you can't, as long as you have an ego, you're going to have, some sort of limiting something. But the depth of it is like so minuscule. That's why I can do what I can do, and why we can offer you what we can offer. Okay, Spirit's saying to me, remember, the teacher can only offer their own alignment to you. It's not about tips and tricks and information. If I can transmit, and because that's our intention, to transmit my alignment with Source, with Alan, to you, that is it. That's the highest form of teaching. I know that. They told me that when I began teaching long ago. They said, who you are is the teaching. You are offering that, the frequency of that, that people can tap into. Because remember, we're all one, aren't we? We're all one. So I'm offering you that, my alignment with Alan, with Source, with my soul. And then you can tap into that if that is appropriate for your growth in this moment. And if it's not, that's fine. That doesn't negate anything that Alan and I are doing. It just means, hey, this is not your journey. How can it be everyone's journey? It's not. And so if anybody, is unhappy with that and says, well, I don't resonate with that, great. This is not your thing. How can it be for everybody? It can't be. And we're not speaking to the masses. We're actually speaking to the people that are at least open to the idea that they can continue their relationships through the veil. I want to explore it to learn. And even if they don't decide to stay with it, they will grow if they're with us, right? So what most people report to us when they start working with us, and again, whether they're in the academy or just watching videos, they can feel that their grief kind of lifts. And you know why? This is what Spirit told me. Because the truth is, you can do this, or you wouldn't feel this ease kind of come over you. Yeah, you could still be crying, but you feel like there's hope. That's not false hope. That's your higher self saying, this is for you. You can do this. And so we're just telling you the truth. Your soul knows the truth when it hears it, reads it, sees it. And we're doing everything we can to activate your knowing of this, your memory of this, because you forgot. You simply came here to have again, this illusion that you're separate from everyone, to have a new experience. But now it's time for you to remember the truth. You know, you are psychic because your soul is psychic. So if you start leaning into that and start remembering, yeah, I got certain feelings intuitively about things, like, yeah, and see where in your life you have been tapping into your inner knowing, right? There's your soul's guidance and all that. Yeah, you start to realize, oh, well, maybe I've always been this way. Okay. All right. Now, Danny's saying it's really like learning a whole new relationship. It's so rewarding. Yeah, it's a new relationship. It's not going to be the same as what you had with them in a body. And some people worry that, well, it's not going to be fulfilling because they're not in a body. I get it. Your physical body has a consciousness of its own. It's programmed. The body itself. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the brain. I mean, you could say it's the brain too. Okay, but the body, because the body has its needs, doesn't it? Right. So it's almost as if, although it's not quite true, it's almost as if the body has its own mind and its own will, and says, "But I want, what I'm familiar with," and that's the physical mind too. Physical mind only knows the physical, so it says, "Well, how can this make me happy if they're not in a body?" But that's why you need to activate your soul and lean more into understanding that you're this spirit and that you're having a spiritual experience, which is actually the real relationship. The relationship on the 3D level is always an illusionary relationship, because whoever you're encountering in 3D is likely not really embodying their soul, are they? So they're in their ego personality structure, and that's not the full them. That's not the real them, because that ego is going to color everything. And I don't care. It's possible, but it's very, very, very extremely rare for somebody to love us unconditionally when they're in a body. If they are able to do that, they're probably a saint. Okay, because you're not here to do that. You're here to explore the separation and duality of the physical world. So that means you have to kind of buy into the personality, right? You have to kind of have some limitations. That's how it's planned. And so we can't really expect people to love us unconditionally, again, unless they're a saint, and other than that, that they're not going to give us the love that they can when they cross over. Now, they're all at different levels of their ability to love through the veil, of show the romance through the veil, because we're still talking about that, right? Passion through the veil and all that. They're all different. So let's talk about, when we talk about difference, this begs the question of, what about the afterlife? How come people who have near-death experiences come back and they have different stories? And some of them feel like they have a hellish NDE, right? Like they feel like it was really dark and negative and scary and all that. And other people, they don't go through a tunnel. They just are there on the other side, surrounded by spirits or their loved ones. Other people, they do go through a tunnel. So I had somebody recently post on my channel that this was evidence that that we were just hallucinating. This person is arguing, saying, well, it should all be the same. Like if everybody should be coming back with the same report of the after, which was really funny if you think about it. Let's pretend it was. Let's pretend everybody has an NDE, comes back with the same story. The argument could be made, well, aren't people just reporting the same story that everybody else said? Right? Like they know what the other NDE people are saying, and they're just repeating the same thing. Then we'd be dealing with that controversy. Well, it can't be right because everybody's saying the same thing and they're all just copying each other. You see how you can't really win this argument about proof of the afterlife? It's ridiculous, folks. So stop it. Stop it already. Here's the reason why people have different experiences, as explained to me by Spirit. You, you, you alone create your reality here in this world, here in the other side. Okay? Sit with that. You create your reality through your beliefs and assumptions, the predominant thoughts you hold. Okay? You get to create your experience because you are source, God, in a physical body, and you are powerful. You don't want to maybe accept it, but you are. So when you transition or when you go out of body, have an out of body experience, whether spontaneous or planned, you have to travel through the dimension. You have to travel through dimensions like astral. You have to go through the astral plane. Also, you need to travel through your energy field. Where do you think your beliefs are held? It's not here in a body. Okay. It's not here in your brain. It's in your field. So you have to go on that journey through your field. You're going to hit your beliefs, your predominant beliefs, okay, whatever they are. You're going to initially experience, and let's talk about transition. You're going to experience your beliefs. And if somebody has a lot of fear about the afterlife, like they've been raised to believe in hellfire and all, hell and damnation and all that, and they fear, in fact, that they're going to go to hell because they haven't been a good person, they're going to have a hellish NDE. And when they actually do transition, let's say they didn't have an NDE, they just left, right? They're going to experience hell. They're going to create the hell that they believe that they're going to go to, okay, for a time. Or they're going to experience, when they cross over, they're going to experience separation or this kind of a void because they believe that there's nothing. Let's pretend they believe there's nothing. So they're going to experience that. But then Spirit is going to show up like, no, there's only love. Like, here's your parent, here's your family. The person might go, what? Like they didn't believe in the afterlife. You're going to go initially to where you believe you're going to go, what you believe is there. So that's just a given. And doesn't that make sense? Okay, so some people will, again, just go to the light because maybe they just automatically believe. So they just see God and they have this amazing experience. And other people, they are fighting off demons or whatever they are. It's all relative to that spirit, that particular spirit who has a personality, ego structure, right? They have beliefs. They have to go through that first. And so when they cross over, what Spirit's showing me, they're reminding me, and I've read this in other books too. When you land there, you might, because let's say you're a Christian. So you go there and you go, okay, yeah, I'm Christian. I'm in heaven. That's right. That's where I should be, right? And then they're shocked when they look around, they see their Muslim friends. Like, wait a minute. How come you're in heaven? You're not Christian like I am. Or they even see their friends that don't believe in the afterlife at all, or don't believe in heaven or hell and all that. Like, you're going to get confused, but that's really reality. Everybody is there. There's no heaven for only a certain religious group. Okay. There's only the other side, which all souls go to. So you'll discover that in time, but initially you land in the reality that's comforting to you. So people might go, cross over and end up in their family home because that's where they feel comfortable and that's where they want to go. But eventually they'll start branching out from that, right? They'll start being kind of called to connect with other souls that are on the other side that you once knew. All that starts to change. Okay, so does that make sense? I'm looking in the chat here if anybody understands this, what we're talking about. But that's why people report different experiences and why some of them are kind of scary. And if you talk to those people, quite often they'll say, yeah, you're right. I have been raised in a religion in a faith that speaks a lot about hell. And I do feel like was not a good person. I mean, how many people are really at peace and thinking like they automatically qualify to go to heaven? Because they led a good life. They were saintly or whatever. Not many people, right? So you've been programmed to fear judgment, like you're going to be judged, and that's why it's also why some people resist death with the time of transition. They're afraid that they're going to go over there and be judged harshly and end up in hell possibly because they were not perfect people. And so a lot of people prolong their suffering and fight against their transition, which you can't ultimately, because the soul decides when it's time to go, so they're going to let go, but they make it really hard on themselves. So when you cross over, you are met pretty much with everyone, your family that is there. You will even meet loved ones that you didn't meet when you were in a body, like, say, like in my case, my grandfather on my mother's side, who I never met. I've connected with him after Ellen passed. He kind of came through to me, appeared to me, and he talked to me, but I never met him when he was in the physical world. Also, my grandparents on my dad's side, who I never met. So I know I'll meet all of them. I'll get to know them better on the other side, and you will reunite. Now, this begs a question. Do I have to meet up with everybody? Because one of my friends said her mother was really abusive to her. And she says, I don't want to have anything to do with her. And I said, well, then you don't have to. But trust me, she'll want to make amends with you, but you don't have to. You will probably be encouraged by your guides to forgive her, and for your sake, so that you don't carry that resentment. But you don't have to see anybody you don't want to see at all. Like, I don't want to see my ex-boyfriend who was abusive. I just want to be with my husband or something. Fine. But you will probably be encouraged to forgive that ex, to understand why that relationship was so painful, was maybe abusive. You have to really look at that just to see the bigger picture. What were both of you learning from that? Because promise you, there's always learning and growth in every relationship, even the ones that were difficult, especially the ones that were difficult or even toxic, painful. So, but it's up to you. You don't have to do anything. It's all your choice. No, I still don't want to have anything to do with my mother, okay, like my friend. And I said, fine, you don't have to. You will probably be encouraged to in time do that for your sake, not hers, but you don't have to. Okay. So I want you to just rest assured that when you go home, it's like you get to get acquainted with everybody again. And especially I've heard people say, like, they crossed over and they they connected with somebody they weren't on good terms with, and now they have this amazing relationship because now you get to see your loved one as they really are, and they couldn't be that way. Maybe a father who couldn't be loving and communicative and all that when they were in a body, and now you can really get to know each other on that, because returning as the soul that you are, right? You're dropping, they drop the ego, you've dropped your ego. You really get to know each other, and there's a great homecoming that happens. And so I know it's hard when someone passes. Of course, we're going to grieve, but they are in a happier place now. If they transitioned through taking their own life in some manner, they're going to need some support, kind of counseling, healing as they cross over. There's no judgment about any of that. They oftentimes they regret their actions, especially because they see the effects that their premature leaving has caused. Now, in some cases, you know, suicide isn't always um, unplanned. Okay. Sometimes it is part of the soul's plan, that they knew there was a high likelihood, or maybe they were definitely going to leave early. But we need to understand on a real basic level, all death is chosen by the soul. It is all a form of suicide. Okay. Doesn't mean that somebody sometimes doesn't do it prematurely and regrets it because they go, oh God, I should have like stuck it out. I should have not bailed out so soon, and they regret it. But because the soul is eternal, they know that they will get another try at it. They will get to incarnate again, maybe not in this reality, in the earth plane, maybe in another dimension, another place. They will learn what they need to learn. But there's always a bit of sadness and regret that the soul experiences because it had planned this, it had set it up, and it had hoped that it could have accomplished its plan. But there's no judgment or criticism if that spirit just said, I can't do it. I can't do it. I was trying, I couldn't do it. That's okay. So, yes, there's life and love in the afterlife. And I cannot tell you how many times Alan has promised me like all the things that he's going to make up to me on the other side, and even told one of my good friends about what he had planned, and she laughed. She goes, "Oh my God, Pam!" He says that he's studying tantric sex. I just cracked up. I just laughed. I said, "Okay, sounds good." Like he says he's planning to just overwhelm you with passion and love. And I said, yeah, he's told me as such. And I'm pretty sure most of your partners are telling you something similar. Okay. So anything is possible. If you feel guided to continue this relationship, if it's strong longing for you, like you just feel it, right? You feel this passion about it. That's probably them calling you forward too. Okay. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, there's nothing to be lost by pursuing this, even if you just change your mind down the road, because who knows? It's a long life. And if you're young, yeah, you might be needing or wanting another relationship. Maybe not right now, today, maybe not next year, maybe not for many years, but who knows? You don't have to think you have to put anything aside. You're here to live. They want us to be happy. They know that if we need somebody to be with us in a body, they're okay with it about most of the time because they're not possessive. They know that this life is just a brief moment in all of eternity, and that you will be reunited again, and you'll be off on other adventures with them. So don't overthink this. Please do not accept anybody telling you that this is not right or impossible, because they're laying on their own beliefs on you. And so if you accept that, you're just making that your reality. Your beliefs create everything in your life, and that you have to have this strong belief that you can connect through the veil in order to manifest it. If you don't have that, there's no point really in you taking any class. You got to work on that first. You got to clear your fear. If you have any of the other side of the supernatural, some people are raised with that and they don't even maybe realize it until they start down this road and they go, yeah, I feel scared. Okay, well, deal with that. That's coming to the surface for you to be cleared of it. Okay. You believe it's wrong to continue this relationship. You got to deal with that. You doubt it. You got to deal with that. All those things are roadblocks in your way. Okay. That's why I said it's not just about learning to give a reading. It's not. I wish it was as simple. If it was, then all these people teaching mediumship, right, to all these people that want to connect, they would all have contact. Why aren't they having it? Why are they? Some of them are. And in those cases, because their loved one is more advanced, is coming through. But most of them on the other side need to learn. That's what I was told. And if it wasn't the case, as I said, then you could take just any mediumship training and boom, you'd have your relationship through the veil, and you wouldn't even need to watch me on YouTube or anybody. You would just be happy skipping along the little bit road. It's not like that. We offer something different. That's just the truth. We're not asking you to believe us. We just ask you to practice on your own. Okay. We are happy to teach anybody for free like this on YouTube. In our program right now, you got to pay what, $19 a month? That's not even the cost of a workshop. So Let's help you connect. Close your eyes. Shifting gears real quickly, right? Close your eyes. And if you haven't already felt your loved one with you, I want you to open your heart and invite them in as we really amplify the energy, okay, with them. It's just not me doing it. This is the other side. We work for spirit. Really, we work for God. Same thing to us. I take my orders from spirit. So we're holding the space, inviting in our loved ones and our guides and the archangels. And I see them wrapping us in their wings. I see them, and although they're not really in bodies, because, spirits don't have bodies, they're kind of projecting like hands, like surrounding us in a circle, projecting love. And they're showing me in the center of our circle, like all of us are, imagine all of us in a circle. In the center of the circle, they're showing us the planet. They're beaming love to us and the planet, which needs a lot of healing, as I think we'd all agree. And we would like you to imagine, see, or feel that you're sending love to the planet and also to others that are in the circle. So imagine, if you will, that there's someone on either side of you. And of course, there isn't anybody there physically. But imagine, if you will, there's someone in a body on either side of you and that you're beaming love to them. You're sending love to them. When you send love to anyone, you're sending love to yourself as well. And as you broadcast that love to your left, to your right, you feel the love circling, right? So imagine this love is being passed around, like going both ways, not just like left or right. I mean, it's going both left and right, right? It's crossing each other. So we're creating this circle of light and love. And imagine that light and love intensifying and going faster. And that light and that love, it's like a circling us, it's circling the planet. And I imagine that light and that love, right, that's circling, creating a vortex of energy. And we're beaming that to Mother Earth. And I want you to imagine that vortex that we're creating is like this field, this powerful field that is raising our vibration, right? Lifting us up, bringing us closer to our higher selves and our soul. And we're going to download from source, from all that is, your memory, okay, your soul's memory of who you really are at the core of you. Now, you may not be able to unpack this and get all the details, but they're wanting to pass to you, because it's time, that knowing of you as a soul. Because they're saying it's time that you remember. And don't worry if you don't think you experience anything. You will always receive what you're able to process and experience for now. In the next 5 minutes, that could change. Tomorrow, it could change. Next week, next year. You're always evolving, always growing. So right now, if it's appropriate for you, transmitting your soul's memory of itself. Okay. And let that anchor into your mind, body, and spirit. And now, if you will, if we're still in the circle, I want you to imagine your loved one and or your guide, Okay, maybe both. Like imagine your loved one on one side of you and your guide, even if you don't know who your guide is, on your other side. Okay, just have a sense who's on which side of you, on the left and the right. Just trust the first idea that comes to you. So if you think, oh, I think my wife is on my right, okay, they're there. That means your guide's on your left. Just trust the first thing that pops in your head. And now I want you to open to feeling their presence. All of our work is to activate your own inner knowing, your own soul's perception. That's the seat of your psychic ability, is your soul. A fully awakened soul is completely psychic, would surpass any evidential medium. Really, be your own medium. So feel the presence. And if you want to, turn to each of them and just either experience the love that's flowing between you, or if you feel like asking a question, you can do that. If you don't have a question, that's fine. You can simply say, is there something you want me to know? Can you tell me something that I don't already know? Or you can ask your guide, how am I doing? And then trust the next thing that comes to you. Whatever message, word, symbol, image, anything. Sensation. Maybe you get tingles. Maybe you get heat. Maybe you get coolness. Whatever. That is how simple spirit communication is. Ask. This is manifestation, by the way. We ask and then we receive. If you're only asking, then you're not receiving the answer, are you? If you're only asking for what you want to manifest, and you're not trusting and allowing it to come because you keep asking and asking and asking, you're not receiving it. You got to be both in action mode and receiving mode. You ask for contact and communication, then you trust the next thing that you receive. And if you're not getting anywhere, you just keep practicing and you keep affirming your belief that you can do this. I'm getting stronger at spirit communication every day. That's a good affirmation to have, even if you're not experiencing anything or whatever your level is, to just keep affirming, I'm experiencing clear communication from spirit or my loved one every day. I'm getting stronger in connecting to the other side every day. Won't that take you to the next level? It will, absolutely. Just affirm that. Because for some of you, affirming that you completely see your loved one is too big of a leap. Start small. Start with a baby step. Now we're going to send love to the earth again and send love and appreciation to our guides and our loved ones in spirit, to the angels. Just because it feels good to be grateful and thank them, not because they need it. Their needs are completely met. But when we show gratitude to others, we're sharing it to ourselves too, right? Everything we give out comes back. What you bless will bless you. What you judge will judge you, because there's only one of us. So now I would like you to bring yourself back, right? Like, let's send this love out to the universe, to the cosmos. And I'd like you to ground yourself to the earth, just using the power of your intention. Send roots down through the bottoms of your feet. Imagine those roots going deep into Mother Earth and anchoring to the molten core of the earth itself, right? And bringing that earth energy up into your body, letting that beautiful earth energy ground you, bring it up through your feet, up to top of your head, let it fountain out of your head and out of your hands. And using, again, the power of your intention, reach out through just using your mind through the cosmos and pull down some cosmic energy to come into your body and mix and blend with that earth energy until you have this beautiful mixture of energies. And you might even see it as a color or just have a sense of it. It doesn't matter. And you might not perceive anything at all, and that doesn't mean it's not happening, because thoughts create. So if you go along with this and you want it, then it's done. Okay, that's how simple it is. Because your soul is all knowing. Your conscious mind, really limited. But as a soul, your mind, your soul is one with that higher mind. That soul is one with God. You have access to all the knowledge of the universe. AI has nothing on you. Not on that level. You can know anything and everything. So now that you're grounded in your body, okay, you feel that connection. You take that into your heart. I want you to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, set the intention to integrate this experience into your body so that you can apply it into this life. What's the point of having some transcendent experience if you cannot use it in 3D reality? Or I'm saying unreality, because he thinks that he knows 3D world is actually an illusion. That doesn't matter. We'll just say you want to apply whatever you spiritually access to this world. That's the whole point. Some people have transcendent experiences and then they don't know how to relate to, people in this world. Well, you're here in this world. You're here to interact with people, and you can't be a space cadet, right? Like just floating out of your body all the time. So we want to be sure we're grounded. When we're really grounded, we actually can be more in tune with the other side. It sounds a bit of a paradox, right? Like, wait, I thought I'd have to leave my body to be no, you actually have to be really grounded here and yet expand, project your consciousness, activate your non-physical body, which you have, and connect with the other side. And it's easier when your beliefs align with that objective. Okay, belief work is really important for connecting through the veil, understanding, knowing who you really are. They are now who they really are. If we want a relationship, we need to align with who we really are. Now, yes, you're going to still have an ego, get in the way a little bit. That doesn't mean you can't quiet it, get it to quiet down so that you can have this relationship and you don't have any fear, don't have any doubts, you don't have any unrealistic expectations that will also get in the way. You're just open to experiencing. This is a journey of spiritual development, not just psychic development. I know some teachers say they're the same things. So I guess I would like to, that's why I say it's more personal development, right? About working on your personal egoic issues. And I've worked with that for 30 plus years. That's been my journey. So thanks for subscribing. If you haven't already, then do so. And thanks for joining us today. And if you want to learn more, then join the Academy. The link is in the description box in our channel. Doors are open. I don't know anybody who teaches what we do for $19 a month, 3 times, sometimes 4 times a month, live on Zoom for up to anywhere between 2 and 3.5 hours. Like, we are going all in and teaching as much as we can, because this is a critical time on the planet. This year, 2024, people can experience magic and miracles, but you got to work it. You've got to work on yourself. There's no shortcut to that. No mediumship training, to my knowledge, is going to do that unless your partner through the veil is some sort of avatar or some sort of ascended being. Then great, I want to hear from you. Okay, but most people, they're going to have to work through their issues. Alan's saying that's really what you came here for, to work through those issues. Okay, so I wish I could make it easy for everybody, really to just wave my magic wand and I could get you hooked up, but unfortunately you can't. And actually, now Spirit's saying, you don't really want us to, because you came here for this unfolding journey. Otherwise, you would have stayed on the other side. If all of us wanted everything to just be easy and peaceful, no problem, we wouldn't have come here. Why would you be here? Yeah, I know. I get it. You said, I don't want all this craziness and I don't want to be, abused, or I don't want to be struggling and scared and whatever. I get it. But you signed up to be here. So that's what the Spirit's saying. So all of us, including me, they're saying, we got to stop complaining. Stop complaining. You want to manifest a great life, even if you can't be positive all the time, that's fine. And we're going to go more into this in the academy. I'm going to really, put this point through to them. If you're having trouble being positive, I get it. First step, stop complaining. Stop complaining about your life, about situation, which means I feel like we were a victim, right? Oh, woe is me. Stop complaining. At least catch yourself when you're complaining. Okay, first step. Second step, after you kind of master that, like you're rarely ever complaining, second step, stop being negative. Stop saying negative things, thinking negative things. Okay. Third step, then you're ready to be more positive, like thinking positive. Okay. That's the 3-step plan. Baby step plan. First, stop complaining. Master that. Then move to, right? Stop being negative, saying negative things, using negative language. Then you'll find it easier to be positive, to think positive, and to live from that place. We've never talked about that before. It's kind of fresh off the press, so to speak. So apply that. And whether or not you're in our academy, comment below. I know right now we have a live chat open and people are posting, but it'll all go away and nobody will see it, and I won't really see it after we close. But so post your comments below and let us know what you think, what you're going through. I will try to answer as best I can if you have questions, but I can't answer everybody. People are starting to email me, like asking me question after question. like I'm just sitting there at the computer coaching everybody, replying to their questions. Sorry, I can't do that. We do offer audio only readings now. They're not yet posted on our website. I will drop a link to that appointment booking platform for you to do that, but that's a short mini reading that I audio record. There's all the explanation of what it is. We don't meet in real time, and we keep it at a really affordable price. But I'm able to do that because I fit in those readings when I can in my day. So I don't have to make whole special time for it. So that's why we can keep the price really affordable. So if you want that, I will put a link in the comments, and we welcome you getting a kind of a taste of what you can expect more of in the academy. That's a really easy way to enter into our world, so to speak, get a little bit closer. All right. So we love all of you. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, take care. Take care till then. Right. And don't stop connecting. Don't ever stop believing if this is what you want. Belief is everything. Doubt is going to take you in the other direction. So just keep believing. All right. Bye-bye.